guys, welcome to another EGX reaction video. This one's a little bit different to the ones we've been doing. We've already looked at some of the big games of this year and next year. This one I'm going to focus on more the Sony event and go through a few of the games there. So the first one I want to look at is something that we've not really seen much of other than the announcement from Gamescom. Until Dawn is a horror game that's based around a serial killer and basically just like a horror movie set in the mountains. These guys have got lost up there, and I had a good look at it at EGX and saw on the screens. I had a quick go, and it's a lot more supernatural and freaky than I thought it would be. I know there's been some gameplay out on the internet, but I hadn't really taken it in. And yeah, it's very much a case of, it's not only the serial killer guy, the actual place is very, very surreal and quite downright scary, to be honest. The control system uses the full range of the DualShock 4's controls as well. Everything is kind of controlled by movement and by combination of buttons and actions. It's really quite an experience of gaming, and having talked to some of the Sony guys there and some of the gamers as well, a few people have said that yes, the big games are getting the headlines, but Until Dawn is actually going to be quite a big game that they're expecting it to do really, really well. And obviously, speaking of the other games that were on the show, Bloodborne is another one of the games that Sony are obviously putting a lot of stock in, and for very good reason. Another dark game like Until Dawn, but in a different way. This is more along the lines of the Souls games. Obviously, we know from Software, the developers of this one, and I had a very brutal playthrough, and believe me, it was brutal. I don't think I've ever played a game that kind of felt quite so like visceral as you were striking it. I think that was something in the actual sound that they've really worked at, the sound and the flesh and the blood spatter and everything. It was up through these really really good earphones that they were making you wear, and it was just spot on as you were getting hit, as you were hitting enemies. I didn't do an individual one on Bloodborne because there's actually a written impressions from David Game, who's been playing the alpha, which is pretty much what I had to go on. So if you get onto mygameslounge.com and just have a look at the article that David did on Bloodborne, it's just called Bloodborne Alpha Impressions. But my impressions are, it's going to be a very much a PlayStation exclusive version of a Souls game. And if you like that really difficult, tough RPG style combat, then you're going to like it. I liked the fact that when you first started off, you can actually pick your kind of character, and I had a couple of goes trying out different ones. You could be a heavy set person who could take a bit more damage but was slower. You could be a bit more agile and dish out damage a bit faster but take less off, and use guns and such as well. It was a good demo, and I am impressed with that, and I'm looking forward to it. Another game that was at the Sony show that we haven't done a video on was Driveclub. Now, I have asked a member of the team to have a look at Driveclub for us, and we should be getting a review out to you soon. The thing about Driveclub is, in any racing game, is if you ask me to play it, I have no idea a good one from a bad one, because I'm just bad at all of them. The thing I noticed about Driveclub from a non-racing fan's perspective, graphically, as you'd expect from obviously a Sony developed game in-house, it's just wow. It really was like stand off the screen gorgeous. That was the first thing I noted, that down from the cars all the way through to the tracks and the actual scenery as well, it did look exceptional. I don't know what they've done with light capture on that game, but everything just seems to have like a shimmer and a shine. It looks wonderful. The only thing that a few people said about the game when they were playing it, it is fully kind of online integration, which is what you'd expect, obviously, of a game that's kind of gone down that sharing route. They're just saying they weren't sure there was that much single player to it. That it is literally just a case of get online and play with your fellow friends with the game. So it is designed to play with others, if you like, rather than at all on your own. So it might be a slight disappointment there. This one isn't going to be a disappointment. It's Little Big Planet 3. I did a video on this yesterday. So please watch it, because it's just that game is going to be amazing. I just wanted to wrap things up here, really, using this footage just to talk about Sony. I mean, the Sony presentation and the Sony area, everything was, there was like the Sony lounge, the PlayStation lounge, sorry. Everything was very kind of chilled back and relaxed. There was like a VIP area where you could play all the exclusives, and it just had that air of, we're leading the market in this, and we've got some really good quality games, so we're just gonna let the games do the talking for us. And while, you know, I said how good Microsoft show, you know, they had a huge presence, they had a lot of games supporting them, and they did really well. Sony have just got that kind of how to put it, kind of casual approach at the moment, because they know how well they're doing. And let's be honest, what have they actually pulled out? What big game have Sony pulled out of their kind of repertoire so far? They have not done anything with Uncharted but put out a teaser trailer. They've not done anything with God of War yet. There's not even been an announcement. They've not really brought back any old games from, you know, the past, from the PlayStation 2 era. They've not revamped anything as yet. You know, they've managed to get, you know, 11 odd million sales of the PlayStation 4 on a lot of third-party titles, and on a lot of you know, just, shall we say, like Infamous, for example. You know, Infamous Second Son, great game, don't get me wrong, great game, but Infamous wasn't a huge console seller. You know, Infamous was like a cult favourite, if you like, with people that like comic books and like wanting to be the superhero. I mean, if you don't want to be a superhero, you're mental, but still, it wasn't a huge selling game, and they've done well off Infamous Second Son. So they've still actually got quite a lot up the sleeve to bring out, and with games like The Order 1886, the ones we've just seen in Bloodborne and Until Dawn coming out next year, as well as probably some surprises. And we know Uncharted will be coming out at some point next year, if possible. So I think the future's very, very bright for the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 owners out there are going to be very, very pleased with the quality of games that are going to be on offer. And if anything, the console is just going to go from strength to strength, and then that is on show, maybe not in the actions, but certainly in the quality of the games. For more on the PlayStation 4, for more on all the games that we've talked about here, get yourself on mygameslounge.com and come and join the gamers.